The compound bow is already drawn. Ren tucks behind the pile of drift on the rooftop and risks a look. 2 off-road bikes have pulled up where she dropped the 4 thugs. 6 men dismounted. They're checking the bodies. The one she let walk earlier is unconscious in the snow. Shaw, look at this. One of them holds up an arrow. An arrow? The one called Shaw goes cold. Shaw? We going after them? We just lost 4 of our guys. A heavy-set thug scoops a melon cleaver off the ground. She picks her moment. Releases. The fat one was standing right in front of Shaw. The arrow goes through his face. The shaft stops centimeters from Shaw's eyes. If the fat one had been any closer, the shot would have taken Shaw with him. She didn't run. Take cover. Find the shooter. Shaw shoves the dying man up as a shield and sweeps the dark. The rest of them are spooked now. Ren watches their cover positions. Which one has the gun? She draws again. She picks the one crawling through the snow toward the alley. Releases. Got her. Shaw? She's up there. The one on the left has already slipped into a residential building. He's at a second-floor window. He spots her, and then an arrow takes him in the chest. He drops. Crack, crack, crack. Gunfire from the back. The smell of powder in the air. Whoever has the gun is up high now. 6 men. 3 down, 3 to go. The shooter's already on a second floor. She isn't betting they only have 1 gun. She glances at the 3-story building beside her. She fires a quick volley to keep the shooter pinned, then sprints, leaps, and goes for a second-floor window. The gunman ducks the arrow stream. He can't get a clean shot off. Her hands hit the windowsill. She's about to break the glass with her elbow when a stone arcs over her shoulder, and the glass shatters first. She glances back. Hadley is standing in the dark of the alley, loading another stone into his slingshot. He flashes the hand sign she taught them on the boar hunt. 2 on the ground. She gets it. Her hands grip the sill, she throws her weight, swings into the second-floor room. Doesn't pause. She bolts up to the 3rd floor. The house has been empty a while. Dust on every surface. Boots thudding up the stairs behind her. She gets to the 3rd-floor roof access. Sweeps the rooftop, breaks left, and jumps. Snow swallows her up to the shoulders. The compound bow appears in her hand. She straightens up and sees a solar panel on the next roof over. She drops behind the panel. 2 of them clear the rooftop she just left. She drops them both with 2 clean shots. Shaw had been hanging back at the right side 2nd-floor window, waiting for word. The word never comes. Then he hears glass shatter from the next room. Close. He bolts down the stairs. Ren looks down. Hayes is below the 2nd-floor window, brick in hand. He just broke the glass. He's out! Hayes shouts and turns to run. The guy still has a gun. Shaw bursts out of the building and runs for the off-road bikes. As he runs, he fires twice at Hayes. On the rooftop, Ren has the compound bow at full draw. The cams hiss. The string sings. Hiss. The arrow leaves the bow. Passes clean through Shaw. Buries itself in the snow. For 2 heartbeats, Shaw feels nothing. He gets 5-6 more steps before he staggers and goes down. She climbs to the next roof and pulls her arrows out of the bodies. To her, arrows are as precious as bullets right now. If she doesn't ration them, a compound bow in her hand is a bicycle without wheels. Coming down, she finds Hayes and Hadley standing at the door of the building. Why'd you come back? Her voice is soft, conversational. They haven't shaken what just happened. They just helped her kill men. Even if they didn't swing the blade, the men are dead, and they had a hand in it. First kills hit different. Neither of them can match the way she's already moved past it. She crouches and searches the bodies. 2 keys. 2 full magazines. 1 handgun. Her eyes brighten. She rolls Shaw over and keeps going. Under the holster, something soft. Drugs. White powder in her hand. No wonder these men were raiding and killing this freely so early in the apocalypse. She tucks loose arrows back into the pack and pats down the rest. They were out for a short run. Not much on them. Drugs, though. There are several bags. The snow falls light. She glances at the 2 silhouettes behind her and holds out one of the bike keys. They just helped her, after all. Hayes reacts first. He steps up and takes it. Hayes wanted to come back for you. Hadley finally finds his voice. They'd been running for the alley. Then Hayes turned and said he was going back. The rest were spent. Hadley followed Hayes. She looks at the boy once. Then she fits her key into the other off-road bike. Hayes copies her. He fumbles the ignition once, then figures it out. He takes Hadley with him. Ren rides behind them. Back in the alley, the village head's son and the others are still tucked into the shadows. Seeing the three of them come back, they realize the gang is finished. Air punches out of their chests. The village head's son and his wife feel the cold all at once. Their legs are numb. They're shaking. They find somewhere to change out of the wet pants. They divide up. Hadley, his dad, and Holt take one bike. Ren takes the village head's son and his wife. Hadley is small enough to lie across the front of the off-road bike without crowding the others. Slower, but better than walking back. They ride through what's left of the night. By the time they hit Hale Hollow, it's past 7 in the morning. The bikes go straight to the village clinic. Calling it a clinic understates it. It was built to serve every farming community within 10 miles. Construction stopped halfway through for reasons no one talks about. The infrastructure is solid. But once the power and water cut out, most of the doctors left. 3 stayed. Dr. Hadley is off the bike before it stops, shouting into the building. A curtain on the first floor twitches open. Hayes and Holt help carry Floyd inside. 3 doctors. 1 whole building. How bad? How did this happen? The 3 of them stare at the bloodied bedsheet wrapped around his leg. Get him onto the table. Let me see the wound. The lead doctor pulls on a mask. They cut the wrap off Floyd's leg. The skin around the wound has gone white. The cold has frozen a thin layer of ice across the cut. All 3 doctors frown at it. Wait outside. They close the surgery door. No power, no running water. Their tools are limited. One of them is good with the local anesthetic. They start working. 50 minutes later, the door opens. How is he? Hadley pushes forward. If you'd come earlier, even better. The wound will heal, but his leg won't be the same. He'll limp. Limp. Hadley repeats it, soft. But his father's alive. That counts. Alive is enough. Alive is enough. Hole looks into the recovery room. Floyd took the wound for them. The weight on their chests finally lifts a little. They leave Hadley to sit with his father. The rest head home. The village head's daughter-in-law goes to tell Hadley's family. Floyd is alive. He's at the clinic. Going was quiet. Coming back is quieter. No one in the village knows they were ever gone. 2 off-road bikes. 1 under Hayes, 1 under Ren. They peel off to their own gates. That's when last night really lands on them. Dad. About Ren. Don't tell anyone. Hayes glances at her gate next door. He went back to help her last night because he finally understood. She was the one who pulled them out of the grain shed in town. If word spreads, the village gossips will twist it into something else. Don't worry. I know how to handle this. Ren looks at the bike now parked in her yard. 2 more sit in the vault. 3 total. She has fuel for years. In a while, she'll run another route. Gas stations. Top up the reserve. Several days pass quiet. Sunday morning. She's running laps through the village when she spots Hadley jogging behind her in the snow. He trails her at a steady distance. When she rounds the back slope, she lengthens her stride and leaves him behind. Monday is the supply day. The aircraft hovers for 10 or 15 seconds and peels off fast. The temperature is 17 below now. This drop is 3 times what they got last time. The village head walks out to the bundle and stops dead. He calls a dozen of the stronger men to help haul. Before, 1 wooden crate. This time, 3. He frowns the whole way back. Once everything is in his yard, he has a dozen of the village women count it down with him. Per capita distribution. When the share lands in everyone's hand, their faces light up. Head. Why so much this time? Were the earlier rounds always this much? You holding back on us? Eyes start drifting toward his front door, the crack in the door, like they could see through it if they tried. The hall is big enough to ask. Ren looks at her share. 6 bottles of water. 5 pounds of greens, 2 pounds of potatoes, 2 pounds of sweet potatoes, half a sack of rice and a half sack of flour, 1 pack of egg noodles, 10 dry sausages. Stretched right, it's a month. Something shifts in her head. She looks at what's in her hands and gets it. There may not be a next drop. The village head fires back. Same share for me as for any of you. I cut everything in front of every one of you. Don't say that to me. The accuser backs off, says he was joking. Head, so why is there so much this time? The crowd looks at him with the same question. He sighs, pulls a folded sheet out of the bottom of the crate. Every drop comes with an inventory slip. Before, just quantities. This one has more. Read it yourselves. Take it home. Eat slow, eat slow. The old man looks years older inside of a minute. What? No, they're going to starve us out. What do I do? 6, 7 mouths in my house. Head, figure something out. This isn't going to work. The slip moves hand to hand. It reaches Ren. She reads the small print at the bottom. Supplies are running short. The Monday distribution schedule has been changed to the 1st of every month. Conditions permitting. If the storm is too heavy, supplies may not arrive on schedule. Next confirmed date will be announced at the next drop. Experts predict temperatures will continue to fall. Citizens are advised to shelter in place and prioritize personal safety. When will the next drop be? Nobody knows. Ren reads the situation and knows. This is the last drop. In the months ahead, the temperature will fall to 40 below. The snow will keep coming. Aircraft can't fly in that. And Hale Hollow is remote. Nobody up the chain is going to fight to reach them. Nobody's grasped the scale yet. But a few people have. They stay at the village head's gate, food in their arms, snow piling on their shoulders. Head, if it's saying temperatures keep dropping and the schedule's uncertain, then is this it? Is this the last one? A heavy-browed man in the crowd. A few people start nodding behind him. Don't anyone leave yet. Wait. He has something else to say. The look in his eye is calculating. Ren stays at the edge of the crowd. If anything breaks bad, she can be gone in a step. Linus, what is it? The village head looks at the son-in-law who married in from another village. Head, this distribution isn't fair. I'm asking for it to be redone. Linus sweeps the crowd. He says it slow, word by word. Think about it. Widow Wallace at the west end of the village. How many kids does she have? 1, an 11-year-old. And she walks away with almost an adult's share. A kid that age can't eat that much. The widow eats the rest. They distribute by head, but families with kids, the kids don't need that much. A few nod along. It sounds reasonable. Then another voice goes up. Head, I think it's not fair either. The men of the village do the heavy work. Women naturally eat less than men. They eat less. They work less. But they take the same share as us. I'm asking for it to be redone. A middle-aged man turns and spots Ren at the edge. Same share in her hands. His face lights up with greed. Head, I second the redo. A woman like that can't eat much. Just like that, they tie themselves into a rope. Suddenly unified. The village head sits in his chair, packing tobacco into his pipe. The shouting around him. He coughs. He'd intended to look after the elderly, the women, and the children. The reaction is so strong he doesn't know what to do. Head, normally women barely eat. Tap, tap, tap. The pipe in his hand strikes the post next to him. Ash drops onto the snow. Hail Felix. You've got the nerve to say that out loud? What exactly do I do less than you men? One of the older women loses it and turns on him. The village women catch fire. Their faces go hard. Their eyes burn. The government is dropping these supplies. Everyone gets a share. Why are we the ones who don't? Less work? Whose eyes see us working less? Half the firewood in my house I split myself this winter? Which one of you wants to stand here and say his wife sits around all day? There are plenty of single men in the village too. In seconds, it's a screaming match outside the village head's gate. Way I see it, you lot don't contribute a damn thing to this village and you're crying for more? Got no shame. And you, Hale Reuben, loudest one yelling, every year you steal from my field. Don't think I don't know. A middle-aged woman launches at him and faints like she's grabbing for his share. Her husband moves in behind her like he means to hold him there. Every year you've stolen from us. Give it back. All of it. She works the fields year-round. Her grip isn't far off her husband's. Enough. Stop fighting. The village head stands, yells over them. The chaos settles. Ren steps back through the crowd and slips out into the snow. The distribution is what it is. Stop arguing. I follow what comes down from above. Who eats more, who eats less? That's not my call. The mountains snowed in. None of you are out doing heavy work. Nobody's burning calories. Your portions are the same. Just because you eat more, I cut into someone else's share? Hand you the whole crate, and even that wouldn't be enough for you. Then he goes silent and packs his pipe. His eyes are red and tired. A thin layer of snow has built up on his boots. His breath comes out as white fog. Ren tugs her scarf higher over her face. Even in the thermal shell, the cold bites if you stand out here too long. A figure with a basket on its back is moving slow through the snow. As she catches up, she sees it's Hadley, Ren. Hadley hears her step and turns to greet her. His basket carries the whole family's share. How's your dad? She thinks about Floyd's leg. She knows where this lands. Better. Thanks for asking. Hadley's eyes are red. He looks worn through. He carries himself steadier than before. He'll heal. Want to go hunt boar tomorrow afternoon? Yes. A flicker comes back in his eyes. They walk together about 10 minutes, then split off. Home. She kneads the new flour into dough, shapes steamed buns, steams them off, sweeps them into the vault. 2 of the bigger sweet potatoes go into the charcoal oven. Dinner. The rest of the sweet potato she steams with the buns. Sliced, dried, makes a decent snack. She drops onto the couch and watches the snow swirl outside. The crops in the vault are coming in. The oil lamp wavers. Her shadow on the wall sways with it. Her breathing slows. She looks asleep. Then her eyes snap open. She stretches and yawns. I'm tired. Crops are ripening. Every night she has to harvest a load and run the equipment. Wheat, rice, corn, strawberries. Bit by bit, she stockpiled almost 100 pounds. She tops off the stove with coal so it burns through the night. Then she sleeps. Next morning, doing her village laps, she sees that the road has her, Hadley, and Hayes on it. 3 runners. None of them speak. 2:30 in the afternoon. The village is inside, fed, warming up. Hadley shows up at her gate, bundled like a snowman. A knock at the gate. She picks up the firewood blade, slings the compound bow, and steps out. This time, it's just Hadley. They retrace the boar route from before. They cut tracks. Any animal would do. The lower slopes have been logged to nothing. Anything still alive has moved deeper. 3 o'clock. I'm going deeper. You coming? The deep mountain is dangerous. Yes. Hadley doesn't hesitate, not even a beat. She glances at him twice and doesn't say anything. The snow is heavy. Anyone down at the base of the slope wouldn't see them up here. They push into the deep forest. At a pine stand, Hadley breaks first. Ren, let's split. I'll take left. If I find anything, I'll call. She nods and takes the right line. She marks the trunks with her dagger as she goes. 10 minutes in, she hears Hadley call. She turns and runs back. Ren, get over here. His face is lit up. He's prying snow back with a small shovel. She comes in close. A pile of pig droppings. Boar territory. Quiet. Look for more. She keeps her voice down. They cast a circle. The smell carries on the cold air. They find boar rub marks on a pine off to the right. They dig at the base of the tree. Most of the older sign is buried. But there's enough. Ren tracks over here. They fan out. Hadley spots prints. She digs at her own feet. She's found prints too. This is the spot. This way. She rises and waves him over. Both of them move quieter now. Something is off about Hadley today. He holds the firewood blade tight. He says, stop. Ahead, hidden by pines, there's a heavy breathing. They freeze. 30 feet away, pines shaking, snow falling off the branches. A black boar rubbing its body against a trunk. Snow showering down over it. They watch. Just the one. And this one is fat. She's already drawing. Both of them stop breathing. Hiss. The arrow passes through it and buries itself in the drift behind. The boar feels the bite and explodes, bucking, thrashing, plunging in random directions to shake off the pain. Wait, she doesn't get the word out. Hadley is already running, blade in hand, charging the wounded boar. She runs after him. A wounded boar can take 10 minutes to bleed out. Charging in raw is a fast way to get killed. When she catches up, the boar has slammed Hadley with its head. He's airborne. He lands in deep snow and gets back on his feet immediately. Blood is leaving the boar in steady runners. Long red trails through the snow. Hadley screams once and brings the blade down. The boar bellows and finally drops. Hadley sinks to his knees. The blade falls beside him. She looks at the boar. Hadley got several cuts in. The boar bled out at their feet. Hadley scoops snow off the ground and scrubs the blood off his face. She reads the change in him and doesn't comment. It's just the two of them today. She takes out her firewood blade, opens the boar's belly, scoops the organs. The cavity steams. Iron-rich, gamey. The blade is sharp. She splits the boar in two, half for each of them. They came prepared. Hadley pulls more than a dozen plastic bags out of his pack. They cut the meat into chunks and bag them. The boar is around 150 pounds. One trip won't do it. They run 2 trips down off the mountain. Hadley is silent the whole way. Hadley, will you trade me the intestines? A slab of meat for it. She catches him before he leaves. Ren, just take it. Don't trade. He looks around, then digs into his pack and pulls out a bag, a length of intestine. She pushes a slab of pork at him. Take it, or next time we don't hunt together. He takes it. Home. She boils water and washes the intestine. Then she washes the pork, separates fat and lean, runs it through the meat grinder. After it cures, she hangs the sausage to smoke over the firewood pile. Wild boar is leaner, better flavor than farm pork. She smokes a few bacon slabs alongside it. Then she sleeps. She thinks the next stretch will be quiet. 5 afternoons later, someone she didn't expect knocks on her gate. In the charcoal grill, skewers are dripping fat. She hears the kicking outside the gate, frowns, pulls some of the coals out, and gets up. The rusted iron gate creaks. The man on the other side is angry. She stands at the gate as the bolt rattles. She slides the bolt back. The kicking stops. The gate cracks open. He shoves at it immediately. She's already braced. She takes 1 step back, plants her shoulder against the door, and the moment she sees who it is, her face goes flat. It's her father, Frank. Frank has clearly not had a good few months. A ragged wool cap. Underneath, a gray turtleneck. Over that, a padded coat, bulging from however many shirts he's layered underneath. His pants are layered the same way. None of it is doing the job. He's shaking on her doorstep. His face is patched with dirt. Yellow in some places, dark in others. He hasn't washed in a long time. He sees Ren's healthy, color in her cheeks face and throws himself at the door. You're out here in Hale Hollow eating well, are you? Let me in. It's freezing. Why are you here? Aren't you supposed to be in the city? Ren's voice is sharp. Then something clicks and her expression changes. I came to find you. People told me you're doing well in Hale Hollow. Look at you. You are doing well. Let me in. My legs are frozen. He shoves at her. She closes the door on him. What are you doing? I'm your father. You have a legal duty to take care of me. Open the door. Frank's hand comes up reflexively and he swings to slap her. She catches his wrist. Oh, now you remember filial duty. You never raised me. You don't get to stand here and say that to me. His face flushes the color of raw liver. He yanks at her grip. Got a backbone now, huh? Talking to your father like that? I'm going to teach you a lesson today. She has poked the bear. The rage takes over. I gave you your life. I can take it back. I'll beat you to death right here. He rips his wrist free and kicks at her. Ren stopped having feelings for him and Marlene a long time ago. Whatever vicious thing leaves their mouths. She stopped flinching. She pulls the firewood blade from behind her. Fakes a downward chop. Frank flinches hard, jerks his leg back, stumbles backward. He goes down on his backside in the snow. She steps forward with the blade. Frank shrieks, Spencer, Spencer. He is genuinely afraid. A figure vaults over the courtyard wall and rushes to lift Frank up. Dad, Dad. Spencer looks up at her with raw hatred. Years under Frank. His temperament is the same. Ren, you hit our father. Spencer hauls Frank to his feet. Even from out in the snow, they can smell grilled meat from inside her house. Ren looks at him. Her so-called brother. Frank stopped coming home the moment Marlene gave him a daughter instead of a son. He went and made one with someone else. But all of that's behind her. She grew up without them, and she's still here. After the last life, she expects nothing from family. She skips the show. Direct. Marlene sent you, didn't she? That's your mother. You ungrateful little. Frank's confidence is gone. Ren has changed too much. What do you want? Her voice is cold. Because every time they show up, there's an angle. They never just come. You got supplies the other day. Half of it. You hand half over. You're gonna support me from now on. Don't, and I report you. Frank says it like he's read the playbook. Before he came, he asked a neighbor who works as a lawyer. Even though he never raised her, never gave her a cent, she has a legal duty to care for him. If she refuses, he can have her arrested. Half my supplies to support you. Are you dreaming? Half the supplies would be the same as killing her. These two haven't changed. Don't want to share? Then get out of this house. My family moves in. Or I show up here every day. And when you leave, you don't take anything. Spencer adds it. Ren laughs at them. What's funny? Frank's hands close into fists. He should have beaten her years ago. It's not too late. Spencer, grab her. Two grown men can pin down a girl. Then he teaches her the lesson she's owed. Hayes has been listening from his side of the wall this whole time. He doesn't intervene. He's seen what Ren can do. Spencer's eyes drag up and down her body. They linger on her face. The look turns her stomach. She knows this look. She's seen it before. Cold settles into her chest. She drives her fist straight into his eye socket. If you want to keep your eyes, don't look at me like that, or I'll pop them out for you. She hadn't expected this from Spencer of all people. She doesn't hold back. A chill runs down his spine. He stops, mid-stride. The look on her face just now actually scared him. Frank doesn't read the room. His authority is on the line. He just wants to take a swing at her to feel better. She doesn't dance with them. She kicks Frank straight in the chest as he lunges. Both of them have been on rationed food. They're weak. She handles them inside 10 seconds. Then she grabs each by the collar and drags them out into the snow. The noise has pulled neighbors out. A small crowd is watching. When they see her hitting her own father, heads shake. Fingers point. She's beating her own father. Frank's trash, I know, but he's still her dad. How does she sleep at night, bullying an old man like that? Ren doesn't hear any of it. She dumps the two men outside her gate, dusts her hands, and slams the door. The skewers in the grill are done. She moves them into the vault. Then she brews ginger tea to drive the cold out and watches until the neighbors disperse. She bundles up and goes out. Frank and Spencer have already moved off. Frank has hated Hale Hollow for years, a poor mountain village in the middle of nowhere. Dad. That bitch Marlene wasn't lying. Ren's got food. A lot of food. She's a girl alone. She can't possibly eat that much. There has to be a stash somewhere. Frank is interested. Then a rumble behind them. They turn. A snowmobile is barreling at them. Ren is on it, waving like the brakes are out. They scramble out of the way. She tracks toward Frank anyway. Frank, already wrecked from the beating, feels the impact land on his shin. He goes down. Can't get up? She rolls the snowmobile back over his leg. Reverses for good measure. A wet crack. Frank screams. She apologizes under her breath and guns the snowmobile away. Spencer screams curses after her until she's gone, then looks down at his groaning father. His face is dark. She watches from a distance. That should keep Frank quiet for a long time. The story of Ren beating Frank travels the village fast. Most of the village is older. They hate children hitting their fathers. The judgment lands on her. She doesn't care. She pulls the skewers from the vault and eats. 2 months in, The chicks have grown out well. She's raised them right. Another month and they'll start laying. After eating, she checks the fruit trees in the vault. Fruit is slower than grain. Strawberries are fastest. She pulls a batch, crushes them down, jars 10 jars of homemade strawberry jam. Strawberries pack vitamins. That night, she pulls a small bell from the vault and ties it to the gate. She rigs a thin tripline along the courtyard with another bell at the end. Anyone past the gate, anyone near the windows, the bells go off. The clapper inside is calibrated. Wind won't ring it. She goes to bed. 3 months into the storm, she has to start sleeping cautious. Morning. She shears the 2 sheep in the vault. She wants to knit herself a sweater and a scarf. She's washing the wool when a man calls from outside the gate. Anyone home? What is it? She hasn't opened the gate. Have you seen Garrett Hale and his wife? The man calls through. Garrett Hale. The name lands. She remembers the 2 she buried in her own courtyard. No, haven't seen them. Folks in the village said his wife came looking for you. You really haven't seen her? He doesn't back off. She opens the gate. A middle-aged man who looks faintly like Garrett. He looks her up and down. Clean. College girl, lives careful. He registers it. She doesn't know what he's thinking. Yes, his wife came by once. The whole village saw it, but she left the same day. I don't know where she went. She lies without a flicker. I'm Garrett's brother. If you see them, let me know. I'm at the west end of the village. Sure. She brushes the snow off and goes back inside. She picks up a video tutorial in her head and slowly starts to wind the wool. Another 2 weeks. In that time, Wren and Hadley make one more deep mountain run. No boar, just a few wild pheasants and rabbits. The big animals have all gone deeper. Only the small things still work the forest edge. Plucking the rabbits, Wren notices the fur has come in fresh and full. Their bodies have grown a second coat to survive the cold. She doesn't waste the hide. She works it into insoles. Surprisingly warm, she harvests the rice and replants. In that span, she also pulls more water from the village reservoir into the vault. And meltwater. Every snow melt she runs into the row of barrels outside. Roughly every hour, she gets a clean block of ice into the vault. Useful later when the temperature swings the other way. In the afternoon, she cooks ahead. Steamed rice, slow stewed ribs, portions into the vault. She's been stocking ready meals. Protein-rich, balanced, ready to eat. Time keeps sliding. The 3rd month of the storm passes quietly. The village is more silent than usual. The snow is still falling, but lighter now. It's been over a month since the last drop. Knock, knock, knock. The gate that stayed silent for half a month rings. Wren looks out. A few of the village women are at her door. Still alive. Look at her. Still alive. Their lips are split and white-flaked. The backs of their hands are swollen with frostbite, blood scabbing over. She's wrapped to the eyes. They can't see how she actually looks. She is alive. Young people stay warm. Not like us. Aunties, what's up? She fakes the gesture of closing the door. Wren, wait. We came to ask you something. One of them grabs the iron gate. Her bare hand sticks to the cold iron, and she yanks it back, yelping. Wren, we're going to the village heads. Going to ask when the next government drop is coming. Thought you'd come with us. Wren thinks for a second and agrees. Her cover here is college girl who came home. Not pushing for the next drop would be off character. Stay quiet about supplies. And the gossip mill writes its own version. She tells them to head on. She'll catch up. They turn and start calling on the next houses. Wren, poor little girl, isn't she? That tiny ration. Look how thin she is. Poor thing. Hearing that reminds me. Widow Wallace's house. Last time, a lot of folks weren't happy with the distribution. Felt cheated. That got settled. But 2 days later, every bit of her family's ration got stolen out of her house. What? Stolen? How don't we know about something like that? Of course you didn't know. It's freezing. The village's gossip network can't move around like usual. Aunt Vera, stop drawing it out. Just tell us. You're killing me here. Aunt Vera beams. The flattery lifts her right out of her bad mood at home. Saw it with my own eyes. Widow Wallace dragged her kid to the village head's gate and threatened to kill herself. Then the village head gave her some of his own supplies and she went home. He gave her food? One of the women at the back asks. Her eyes are moving fast. She's thinking. By the time Ren pushes through the crowd at the village head's gate, half the village is already there. The village head still holds the pipe in his hand, though there's no tobacco left inside. Out of habit, he raises it to his lips and sucks. The villagers around him keep talking over each other, listing their demands like he's some kind of miracle worker who can fix every problem they have. He sits there, saying nothing. The gray strands in his hair seem to have multiplied overnight. Only when the crowd finally quiets does he tap the pipe against his palm, out of habit. I hear you, but the satellite signal is gone. I can't reach the government. There's nothing I can do. You're the village head. How can you say there's nothing to do? Someone in the crowd shouts. The village head turns his bloodshot eyes toward the voice. I have a family too. I have to survive too. I know this is hard for everyone, but I'm just the head of one small mountain village. I'm not a god. If you think I'm not enough, fine. Everyone's here today. Vote in a new village head. The old man looks at the house behind him. Through the window, he sees his family watching him. In the crowd, several faces light up with interest. A man steps forward and plants himself beside the village head. If I'm village head, I guarantee every family in this village eats. The chatter dies. Every eye in the crowd swings to him. Felix, how could you possibly become village head? The questions come from all directions, but Felix stays calm. If I'm village head, every household gets food every day, and not just the same thing twice. Variety. What nonsense are you talking? Variety every day. An aunt rolls her eyes openly. Ren watches Felix with quiet interest. The men who had been thinking of running themselves now stare at Felix beside the village head. They wanted to be village head too. But Felix's words clearly have weight with the crowd. They've probably lost their chance. All you have to do is vote me in. Everything I've promised, I'll deliver. Felix is already running calculations in his head, thinking of the good life ahead. His eyebrows lift. Ren, what do you think he's after? Hadley stands beside her, watching Felix with open hatred. No idea. Ren says, though she already has a few guesses. None of them are good. The two of them talk like there's nobody else around. The vote is over fast. A few others wanted to run, but Felix's promises outshine them all. Felix wins. Thank you for your support. I won't let you down. Felix gives a flowery speech, but the cold is too sharp. People only want to get home. His chest is full of triumph. His whole body feels warmer. The weight is off the old village head's shoulders. He suddenly feels lighter. The empty pipe in his mouth almost tastes like tobacco again. Ren, you have to be careful. Felix isn't a good man. Hadley sounds like he's remembering something. There's real disgust in his voice when he says the name. Ren nods. She watches Hadley walk away. Since his father got hurt, Hadley carries the weight of his family on those narrow shoulders. He looks like a little old man all day. Near dusk, the sky goes black fast. Except for the snow throwing back a little light, everything around her is pitch dark. Knock, knock, knock. Knock, knock, knock. The rusted iron gate rattles in a steady rhythm. Ren throws a loose padded coat over her sleep clothes. What's the hurry? Open up, it's the village head. Felix's voice calls from the other side. Ren stands behind the iron gate, the rifle slung across her back, listening. Voices. About 6 men, by the sound of it. Knock, knock, knock. The pounding gets sharper. Open up, I know you're in there. She opens the gate. The men behind Felix immediately fix their eyes on her face. She says nothing. She just watches Felix. Whatever he's going to do, let him do it. In the dark, none of them can read her expression. Ren, listen, I've set a new rule for our village. Every household has to bring 5 pounds of rice to my place. If you can't manage 5, 3 is fine. If you don't have rice, sweet potatoes or potatoes will do. As long as it's food, 3 or 5 pounds, that's the deal. Ren looks at him like he's an idiot. She'd thought Felix would build his power slowly. Instead, he walked straight in and crowned himself king on day 1. I don't have any. If he wants food, he won't get a single grain. Felix is digging his own grave. How can you not have any? That makes things difficult for me. Tell you what, you're a girl living alone. I know girls don't eat much. I'll cut you a break. 2 pounds. There. Don't say I'm not looking out for you. Everyone else has to bring 5 or 3. His tone sounds almost genuine, like he's actually thinking of her. Like he expects gratitude. The men behind him take a step forward. Ren doesn't move, but Felix lifts a hand to hold them back. Think about it. Most of the village is already paid up. If you don't, it makes me look bad in front of them. Felix watches her bright eyes in the dark. Something ugly slides into his face. The brothers in his crew never managed to get wives. Sitting around together, they never got any real business done. Tonight, they finally found their nerve. He knows Ren, the only one in the village to test into a top university. This one, he wants for himself. I don't have any. Her tone doesn't move. Felix gives a thin smile and waves the men back. They turn and follow him down the road. Bastards. Ren watches the bundles of food the men are dragging behind them. People in this village are already starving, and he's openly robbing them, hauling food away from their pantries. Has he decided he's lived long enough? But Felix causes trouble in the days that follow. The next day, he uses the food he collected at gunpoint to hire the village's young, strong men. He tells them to head into the city for supplies. He promises he'll look after their families while they're gone. They believe him. Food at home is running out anyway. They pack and leave the next morning. With the strongest men gone, Felix and his crew drop every pretense. First, they break into Widow Wang's house. They don't just stay the night. The sisters and unmarried daughters of the men who left also become targets. A few even go willingly. The world is changing day by day, slowly turning into the world Ren remembers from her last life. Ren looks out at the snow. It's like the past life again. Back then, in the university dorm, one of the boys turned into someone like Felix. Every day he walked through the women's wing like he was picking concubines. If he liked you, he took you to play with. If you displeased him after one stroke of a blade, gone. The fallen piled up in the hallway. Fluid from the bodies leaked across the dorm floor. Those days were hell on earth. She's still inside the memory when a bell on her gate chimes. She sits up fast, snatches the firewood blade beside her. Knock, knock, knock. A soft tap on the gate. She listens. A familiar voice is calling her name. Ren, Ren. It's Hadley. She unlocks the gate carefully. He's panting hard. Ren. Felix is coming for you tonight. I overheard them. When? Ren strokes the hilt of the blade. Tonight. They're at the house next to mine right now. Annie next door. They've already done her. Hadley's eyes are wide with terror. Ren, I have to go back. My mom and sister are still at home. Take care of yourself. Hadley knows what she can do. He's been up the mountain hunting with her enough times. In his head, Ren is the strongest person he knows. When he gets home, he sees 2 figures pressed together on the couch, his mother and his little sister. Too much has happened in the village lately. His sister is small, but she understands. Mom, I'm scared. Uncle Felix wanted to hold me today. The little girl's eyes are huge. Listening to Annie cry through the wall, her body shakes harder. Most of the able-bodied men are gone to the city. 3 to 5 days, minimum, before any of them can come back. And Hadley remembers last time he and his father went into the city. His father came back with a permanent limp. The city is more dangerous than the village. By a wide margin. Whether those men make it back at all is anyone's guess. Hadley's mother holds his sister tight. She feels her daughter trembling. Inside her own chest, fear builds. He wanted to hold her? When did this happen? Did he come to the house today? Hadley hears his sister and turns around. He pulls the firewood blade off the hook by the door. Hadley, what are you doing? Put the blade down. His grandmother lunges forward and pulls the blade out of his hand. But there's only one thought in Hadley's head. Take the blade, walk next door, end Felix. While he was away, Felix dared to look at his sister. Hadley, don't be rash. Upstairs, his father, wrapped in a blanket, comes down. The whole family sits by the stove, their faces full of dread. After Hadley leaves, Ren steps out into the small courtyard. The sky is bone white. The wind throws her hair back. Cold cuts through the padded coat. In the dark, she can still see candlelight flickering in the windows of houses across the village. She turns back inside. She strips off her sleep clothes, dresses properly, and pulls a rain poncho over the padded coat. She'll have to take lives tonight. A padded coat soaked in crimson is hard to wash. A rain poncho. Just rinse it under water. Convenient. She adds coal to the stove. Then she climbs up to the kitchen loft and pulls down a long rope ladder. Felix has 7 lapdogs in the village. And lately his crew has been growing. She doesn't know the exact count. She's never trained anywhere formal. The skills she has came from fights, from doing. To be safe, she sets the rope ladder behind the house. She climbs onto the roof, compound bow in hand, and waits. Time passes. Snow gathers on her shoulders. The roasted sweet potato in her hand hardens in the freezing air. The iron gate is only half shut. If Felix comes, he can push it open. 10:30. A scrape against the courtyard wall outside. She lifts the bow, pulls to full draw. Ha! That Annie used to say she had a boyfriend. Turns out she was still a virgin. Big bro Felix. Hadley's little sister next door isn't bad either. We could pay a visit one of these days. The man behind Felix lowers his voice. You little dog. I know what you're after. You like that one. Ha ha ha. Big bro Felix gets me. The man scratches his head, embarrassed in the most twisted way. After his thoughts are read out loud, a wide grin spreads across his face. The men stop at the iron gate to Ren's courtyard. Every one of them looks at Felix like they're watching a show. Bro Felix, want us to come in with you? Hope flashes in the man's eyes. The days since he joined Felix have been the best of his life. Like an emperor, the women in the village, like bedwarmers. Sleep with whichever one he likes, in her own house. When he leaves, he can take her food. The women don't dare make a sound. What are you talking about? We're brothers. Old saying, women are like clothes, brothers are like limbs. It's just one woman. We share. Felix knows he still has to keep these men close. It's just one Ren. Once the crew gets bigger. Outside the village, there are thousands of Rens. By then, they can pick whoever they want. Big bro Felix is generous. Filthy grins on every face. Ren's pale skin lives in their heads. Mouths curl. They thought they'd have to wait their turn after Felix finished with her. They never expected to share. Felix really does treat them like brothers. One man steps up and pushes the rusted iron gates. They swing open easily. Bro Felix. The man beams. He shoves the gates wide. Inside, candlelight flickers in the front room of the square courtyard house. The men jostled to get inside first. Ren crouches on the roof watching them spill into her yard. She counts, including Felix. 8. Felix gives a fake cough and waves his crew toward the house. In the dark, an arrow whips across the courtyard. It passes clean through Felix and the man directly behind him. Felix feels something punch through his gut. Then he pitches face first into the snow. The men behind him haven't processed it yet when Ren's second arrow leaves the string. Through 2 more. 2 more go down. What the? Run! The remaining 4 finally react. They turn to flee. Ren puts her third arrow into the air. Another one drops. 3 left, scrambling out of the gate, no looking back. They're farm boys. They've handled chickens and pigs their whole lives, not death. The moment they clear the gate, Ren slings the bow, drops from the roof, and tucks into a roll the second her boots hit the snow. She comes up running. The 3 men are stumbling backward down the lane. Their faces have gone slack with terror. Hadley and a slim girl are blocking the lane in front of them, both holding sickles. Step by step, they advance. For every step Hadley and the girl take forward, the 3 step back. Annie, we were wrong. We're sorry. It was all Felix. He made us. It was all Felix's idea. He's in there. He's the one. Go after him. but neither of them seems to hear. They keep walking forward. Ren cuts off the path behind. Annie and Hadley have them in front. The three are boxed, looking at the three faces in front of them. No mercy coming. Hadley, you little brat. What are you doing? I'm your second uncle. They look back. Ren stands behind them, face flat. Ren, what are you doing? I held you when you were little. This was all Felix. Take it out on Felix. Of the three, Annie hates the deepest. Her eyes are swollen and red. She raises the sickle and brings it down. The man on the right throws his arm up on reflex. The blade tears through the padded coat and bites into the meat below. He screams. Annie, I was wrong. I was wrong. I shouldn't have forced you. Annie, for years of family. Let me go. His mouth says one thing. His eyes say another. If he gets out of this lane alive, all three kids are dead by morning. The other two stare. They watch Annie come down with the sickle again. Their faces shift. They go ugly. Tonight they'll have to fight to leave. Annie wrenches the blade free and brings it down again. This time the man doesn't beg. He dodges and spits filth. Annie, those sounds you made tonight, sweetest I ever heard. Tell the truth. You liked it, didn't you? The other two laugh. Annie hears the laughter. Her body starts to shake. The night replays in her head. Ah, I'll kill all of you. Annie raises the sickle. She swings wild. Hadley moves in too. Rin kicks the third man straight off balance just as he turns to flank Annie. Annie's blade drives toward the first man's head. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. Hadley doesn't hold back either. He pictures his sister. If these men don't fall tonight, his sister is next. His sister is so small. These animals. This is the first life Hadley has taken with his own hand. He looks down at the three still bodies in the snow. He drops to his knees and starts to retch. Annie is past sanity. The two beside her have been chopped almost beyond recognition. Crimson soaks through the snow. It's on her clothes, her skin, her hair, her face. Ren watches the girl. She waits for Annie and Hadley to finish bleeding off the worst of it before she moves. The noise has pulled the village out into the lane. Hadley's family stands back, looking at the three blood-soaked figures. Nobody dares approach. They whisper. Killers. They took Felix down. They took down the whole crew. The ones Felix had bullied. There's quiet triumph in their eyes. And fear. Annie comes back to herself. She looks down at the crimson on her clothes. Her body still trembles. But the fear is gone. She used all of it tonight. She may never feel it again. Annie. Let's dig, Hadley says quietly, meeting her eyes. The three of them follow Ren to a spot just outside the courtyard wall. They start to dig. Two bodies are already on the ground inside Ren's yard. Too many bodies stacked up looks bad anyway. Hadley and Annie help Ren drag the bodies in the yard out into the lane. Every time another body comes out, the villagers' eyes go wider. They tangle the bodies in the pit. Not a deep pit. They cover with dirt. Then they cover the dirt with snow. Ren, thank you. Annie sees Felix's body too. Out of all of them, the one she hated most. Ren looks at the red marks on her neck. She doesn't know what to say. Anyone who survives a night like that, there's no fast way out of it. The days ahead will be hard. Take care of yourself, Ren says quietly behind her. Then Annie and Hadley head home. A long night. The sky is turning gray. Ren skips morning training for once. She sleeps until afternoon. After Felix and his crew fall, the village pours into their houses to loot. The ones who had been forced to pay rice take it back from Felix's pantry. They don't care who's still inside, they take everything. Ren gets some too. Hadley and Annie bring her a share. They were the first into Felix's house. A dozen sweet potatoes, half a sack of potatoes, half a sack of rice, a few carrots, even some dried jerky. Anything that keeps. That's all that's left. After Annie leaves, Hadley asks Ren to go up the mountain with him in 3 days, around noon. She agrees. Hadley has grown up in this village. He spots animal sign before she does. The two of them work well as a team. After Felix, when villagers see the three of them in the lane, they step aside. Nobody talks openly about Annie anymore. Forced. Annie didn't choose any of it, but in the eyes of the older country folk, this is on her. Her fault. Not pure enough. But Annie helped end Felix's crew. So now the village only whispers behind her back. 2 days pass. The young men who left for the city come home. They left more than 10 strong. 5 come back. Grief settles over the Hale Hollow upper end. Every day, Ren hears old people crying in the lanes. Some dig up Felix and his crew just to beat the bodies again. Before, when it wasn't their children, they were the ones shaking their heads at Annie. Now their sons are dead too, and it traces back to Felix. They hate him enough to eat him. Ren and Hadley shoulder packs and head up the mountain. Ren, how long do you think this damn weather lasts? I've decided. When the snow stops and melts, I'm walking to the police and turning myself in. Since the killing, Hadley lives each day like it's his last. A life taken means a life owed. In his head, he's counting time. Before the snow melts, 6 months at least. Maybe sooner, Ren says without conviction. They find a bamboo rat warren and a non-venomous snake. On the way down, they see more villagers going up with weapons. They glance at each other. So that's why the wild boars stopped coming to the edge of the forest. The herd has gone deep. They cover their catch with another stick of firewood and head home. Firewood isn't what it used to be. All wet now, frozen through, heavy to carry, hard to burn, has to be dried first. On the lane down, they pass a group of grandmothers. They've cornered 2 of the returnees. The words are vicious. Give my son back. You all went together. How do you all come home, and my son doesn't? Why didn't you fall with him? The 2 young men stand silent under it. They take the blows when the blows come. They're 2 of the 5 who made it back from the city. None of them said anything when they got home. Their food was gone. They brought no supplies. Ren and Hadley walk past. Whatever happened in the city, they both understand. Ren gets home and immediately spots a thin figure outside her gate. A woman. Ren, Hadley points. Ren nods. It's fine. Go on home. The woman is dressed too thin for the weather. Her body shakes in the cold. She stands in front of Ren's gate, looking around. Then she spots Ren coming up the road with a load of firewood on her back. She stumbles forward. Ren? Mom's come to help you? Marlene's voice trembles, cold to the bone. Her chapped hands are swollen red. She reaches up to lift the carry straps off Ren's shoulders. But her arms can't lift the pack. Her face goes embarrassed. Months of going hungry. Her body has nothing left. Don't waste your strength. What did you come here for? Ren digs out the key, opens the gate, drops the pack inside the yard. The bamboo rats at the bottom of the pack squeak. Marlene looks down. She sees them moving. She swallows. Let me help unpack, Ren. She steps forward, lifts the firewood off the top, stacks it against the wall. Ren stands aside and watches her work. When the firewood is off, Marlene spots the fat bamboo rats and the half piece of snake meat below. Oh my girl, so capable. You can hunt too. Marlene's voice climbs with excitement. Ren watches her, cold. Ren's face shows nothing. Her thoughts churn underneath. She steadies fast. You and Hadley's grandfather never cared about me growing up. You only show up when you need something. Spit it out. Ren picks up the pack with the rats and walks it straight to the kitchen. Marlene's body stiffens for a second. When she turns to face Ren again, she has the warm smile back on. Ren, sweetheart, that was all my fault before. Give me a chance? I want to take care of you. I want to make up for the past. We can start over. It's not too late, is it? Ren looks at the sincerity on her face. For a second, she feels lost. What's real and what isn't? Everything she lived through in the last life, and everything in this life. All of it real. Too late, Marlene. I'm 19 now. I'm grown. I don't need anyone taking care of me. As you can see, I'm doing fine alone. Too late. Way too late. 2 lifetimes too late. A cold smile tugs at Ren's mouth. She has to admit, this is Marlene's strength. She's smoother than Frank. Frank just pushes. Marlene softens. The smile freezes on Marlene's face. She doesn't know what expression to wear. She thought she had Ren read. She hadn't expected her routine to glance right off. Ren, sweetheart, you're a girl. How can you live alone? Everything's chaos out there. Come with me. Or, let me bring your brother here. We can live together, yes? Marlene goes soft, gentle, a tone she has never used on Ren. In her memory, Ren always wanted family. Especially now, seeing Ren hauling firewood. Hunting game. She can't let a worker like that get away. I go with you, and the moment your food runs low, you sell me off to feed your son. Or you all move in here, and I become the live-in cook and laundry for your whole household. Marlene, you and Frank stop coming. Stop pulling on me, or it won't end well for you. Ren almost laughs. Last time she broke one of Frank's legs, and he went quiet for weeks. Now Marlene is the one who shows up. The two of them are like a curse that won't lift. Like a rat stepped on its tail. Marlene lurches up. What are you saying? Your grandparents are gone. You only have us. You don't want a relationship with your brother. Are you not planning to be human anymore? Treat him well now. When you marry, your brother can give you away. People will respect you. They won't push you around. Ren can't be bothered to argue. With Frank, beating him into the snow was enough. But Marlene runs her mouth on and on. Ren's ears ring. Ren walks up to her. She brings her hand down hard on the back of Marlene's neck. 3 months of going hungry. Marlene drops. Ren finds the cart. The wheels she's already swapped out for 2 ski boards. Two-handed, light, easy. She loads Marlene onto the cart. Looks down at her. Under the unrecognizable padded coat is one thin shirt. She wheels Marlene out to a house at the edge of the village. 3 minutes from now, Marlene will come too. On the way back, Ren keeps pulling snow into the vault. Passing Granny Hale's house, she sees Hayes standing in the gateway. Since they came back from the city, the two haven't spoken much. They nod when they pass. Watching Ren take a second life, Hayes' first thought was to stay clear. 2 reasons. 1. If she draws heat later, he doesn't want it spilling on him. 2. In his head, someone who kills like that without flinching can't be all good. Ren can read Hayes. Even Uncle Holt rarely greets her in the lane now. When Cousin Linnea brings the baby outside, she sees Ren and ducks back into the house. The whole family pulling back. Ren sees it. She doesn't hold it against them. Start to finish, the only one she ever needed to thank was Granny Hale. Prejudice is a mountain. Hard to climb. Like what Hadley told her up on the slope today. Since he helped take Felix's crew down, 2 friends from the village have stopped coming around. They used to hunt together. Now both avoid him. But if it happened again, he wouldn't hesitate. He'd lift the blade and put Felix down again. When Marlene comes to, panic first. Then she looks around. When she places the road as familiar, she starts cursing Ren out into the empty air. You little brat. You ungrateful piece of trash. If I'd known you'd turn out like this, I'd have thrown you out years ago. The wind hits. Marlene shivers and pushes herself up. She starts walking toward the next village. Wasted her energy hauling firewood. She should have grabbed the bamboo rats and run. The little brat is on guard. She'd hauled the food inside fast. Marlene replays it. Rage builds. She gets home. Opens the door. A cup flies at her leg. Marlene looks up. Her boy. She lights up. Sweetheart, who upset you? Tell Mom. I'll handle them for you. I'm hungry. I want something. Food. Food. No electricity. No lights. Things back to the most primitive state. At dusk, Ren lights the oil lamp. She pulls the curtains. On the stove, pig trotter is braising with soybeans. On a smaller burner, rice cooks. The smell fills the room. Once the trotter is tender, she kills the heat. Eats well, cleans up, goes to bed. After morning training, she counts the days. 3rd month of the collapse, almost into the 4th, right when chaos really begins. 4 months. No matter how much you stockpiled, it runs down. Only rice keeps. The thermometer reads 44 below. Ren curls up indoors. The snow has stopped falling outside. But the world outside is a frozen world. Go for a walk without dressing right, and you come back paralyzed. The snow she pulled from her yard is already in the vault. 20+ tubs and pots sit in the yard. Ice blocks, she empties the ice into the vault and refills with fresh melt water. Lets it freeze again. She makes small ice cubes too, for when the weather warms. 2 cool drinks. Drop into homemade lemon tea. Today is officially the start of month 4 of the collapse. The quiet life is about to end. But there's good news. The chicks she's been raising in the vault are old enough to lay eggs. This morning, feeding them, she found a single white egg in the coop. She got excited. She had a few eggs stockpiled, but she's eaten through most of them over the 4 months. 80+ chickens. Only 20-some eggs this morning. She's still glowing. Boils 2 right away. She whisks a few more for a soufflé. Eats well. Recently, she's worked out a small bread recipe. She can make a batch and keep it. Eating bread in front of others won't raise eyebrows. After breakfast, she watches the instructional video. She didn't have money for many phones. She managed to buy a dozen plus, but every phone has useful videos loaded onto it. Ren follows along, lays the dough directly on the cast iron grate, and pulls out her first proper loaf. She slices it for storage. Whenever she wants some, she pulls a slice. Her mood is good all day. Wind howls outside. A near-finished wool jacket sits on the couch. She tries it on. The wool quality is good. Just takes time. The wool scarf came out well, too. She harvests the dried fruit roasting on the stovetop, sorts it, stows it, roasts a batch of pine nuts. She grew these in the vault, each one fat and full. Roasted pine nuts make good bait for mountain traps. Pulls in small game. Everything moving to planned noon. The gate, silent for 2 weeks, suddenly rattles. Anyone home? Anyone there? Open up. An older voice. Ren opens the gate. An old woman holding a child of about 12 or 13 by the hand. When the old woman sees her, she pulls the kid a few steps closer. Young lady, do you have any food? Just 1 bite for an old woman. We're out at home. Ren looks them over. She glances around. Through the windows of the houses along the lane, villagers are watching. She pulls her eyes back. The bones of the old woman's arms show through the dried-out skin, both hair tangled and filthy. The granddaughter's lips are blue. Frost burns showing on her face, pitiful in the strict sense. But the hungry stares from the windows around the lane make Ren's skin tighten. I don't have anything to give. Try elsewhere. Ren hasn't finished when the old woman drops to her knees. Her right hand still locked around the granddaughter's arm. She drags the kid to the ground with her. Ren steps to the side. She refuses the bow. I beg you, show mercy. Save us, 1 bite. The old woman's eyes flick around the yard. She waits. Nobody comes out from inside. Now she's confirmed Ren lives alone. She doubles down. Young women, the type living alone. Soft-hearted usually. A bit more kneeling and begging. Surely the food comes out. But clearly Ren isn't the kind of young woman she'd imagined. Talking goes nowhere. Ren turns and pulls the gate shut. Grandma? She shut the gate. The little girl pushes herself up slowly. Even a short kneel in this cold, and her knees lock. The old woman spits on Ren's iron gate. Then she pinches the granddaughter hard. The girl whimpers. Only then does she stop. You useless thing. If we don't bring back food today, you go hungry at home. Vicious. The 2 of them leave Ren's lane. Watching Ren not give, the eyes in the windows around the lane fill with their own disappointment. That Ren's place definitely has food. Otherwise, how does she stay inside this long without coming out? A villager stares at Ren's closed gate, mumbling. In the days that follow, every few days the gate rattles. Always strangers from neighboring villages, looking for food. They ride out into the wind, drift between villages, hoping for a soft house, hoping for 1 good meal. But the houses that give to them once become marked houses. When what they were given runs out, they come back for more. The strange part, 2 weeks in, Ren picks up a piece of news. Today, she and Hadley and Annie are heading deep into the mountain, On the trail they talk. They get on to the topic of all the strangers coming to beg. Ren, Hadley, listen. Don't fall for the pity routine. Don't hand food over. They're a bottomless pit. And we're hungry too. Annie's face is hot. Her family has been hit too. Her mother almost gave the first time. Annie stopped her. The beggar held a grudge. I didn't give. We don't have anything either, Hadley says. He acts it out the moment he refused. Word for word. Ren says she never gave from the start. But because she lives alone, she's a target anyway. Listen, in a time like this, there's actually a real bleeding heart out there. The Crawford family, the next village over. You too heard. Annie drops her voice the way she always does for gossip. They've figured out the surrounding villages were starving, so they cracked open their own stores. Cooking porridge, like the old charity rice lines. Free porridge. Ren and Hadley's eyes go round at the same time. The Crawfords have nerve. Or no survival instinct. Ren can already see the ending for them. She lights a candle for them in her head. Having a soft heart isn't a sin. But in this world, having a soft heart gets you killed first. Villagers around here. Rice or no rice at home, they all troop over to eat the Crawfords' porridge. Annie keeps unloading on the Crawfords as they walk, but underneath it, she's sad for them too. Some people feed them, and they never tame. The day you can't feed them anymore, what they eat is you. The three head deeper into the mountain. They don't split up. The big game has moved deep. Split up out here, and one of them might run into something. Down the mountain there's nothing to eat. What's still up here, in the eyes of those animals, they're food too. They go careful. They still walk into a pack of wolves. Wolves rank near the top of animal intelligence. 6 wolves. Quiet circle around the 3 of them. From every direction. Bellies to the snow. No sound. Hadley. What do we? Annie's voice shakes. Snarls roll up out of the wolves' throats. In the spike of fear, she can hear her own heart. Each beat like it wants out of her chest. The wolves study the 3 of them. Step by step, they close in. Saliva drips from open mouths. Their fronts dip. The fighting stance. The 3 have nowhere to back to. They're already shoulder to shoulder. Ren glances at the big tree beside her. When I call it, get up the tree. Got it? The other 2 nod. Knuckles white on their blades. Up the tree. Ren snaps. She reaches up, catches a low branch, drives off it. Both hands clamp down, then her legs come up. She locks them around the branch. The motion is hard. Snow on the branch comes down in clumps over the 3 of them. Hadley and Ren keep it together. Annie scales faster than she ever has in her life. She passes both of them and shoots up to the mid-trunk. The wolves close as soon as the 3 move. 3 of them rake claws into the trunk. Over and over. Yellow eyes pinned on the 3 above. Ren almost loses her grip. 2 wolves rocket off the snow, jaws snapping at her. She'll give them this. They're smart. She rolls fast. A wolf lunges to take her. Hadley's slingshot stone takes it in the eye. The wolf shrieks. Comes at Hadley. Misses. Buries itself in the drift. Ren pulls the compound bow off her back. Last time she came up with a handgun? But she's only got 20-some rounds. Best not to waste them. Ren, which one first? Hadley tracks her. The one on the right, black fur on its legs. The arrow leaves the string, passes clean through. Hadley's slingshot snaps. Stone takes the wolf in the eye. The wolf yelps, runs a few steps into the trees, drops. These wolves have been hungry a long time. After the first 2 go down, the rest don't run. They pull back, stand at distance, watch. They're waiting. Waiting for Ren and her crew to tire. Waiting for them to come down. Ren puts a second arrow into the air. Now the pack reads it. These 3 can really take all of them. The lead wolf moves to pull a body away.